Hello. We'll wait for rest of them to join. Till that time, I'll be sending you um, the PPTs or the materials that we have already undergone. So that means the decision table approach PPT has not been uploaded in the Google Classroom or anywhere. So I'm just uploading it through the chat window. You just try to download it over there. Okay. And today's topic also, I'll just try to upload it. Type your USN on the screen, sorry, on the group chat window. So there only you'll be finding the PPTs. Did you find the PPTs? Hello. Did everyone got the PPTs that I have shared with you? You can type your answer on this chat box. Is it visible to all of you, the two PPTs that I have shared? Now, okay, I have not shared the screen. Don't worry, I have not shared the screen. I'm talking about two files I have sent through group chat. Did you get that two files? Fine. You download those two files. Now also it is not, you cannot download it. Hello? You're not able to view the file. The file which I have shared with you in the same group chat window, can you able to see it or not? Not able to see it, sir. Okay, fine, fine. I'll just send you through Google Classroom itself. Okay. Okay, fine. Today's class, I'll just brief you out. So today we are going to see a very new technique. So which is coming under, we are all comfortable enough to saying that testing will be done in two parts. One is functional testing, another one is structural testing. Functional testing always deals with respect to your specifications or the requirements, right? So whereas with respect to your structural testing, it is based on your program, based on your data flow, how it will be flowing, how the data will be entered into your program, how the program functions. Depending on that, you'll be writing the test cases. So we are going to deal with respect to the second type of the testing technique, that is called as structural testing from today. So yesterday, whatever we studied, whatever we just finished off is based on your specification based, that is input, based on the input, based on the requirements, we are just going to deal with it. So we don't know what happens in that particular system, what happens in the program. I'll provide you the input, whatever the output that I want, I'm just expecting some output. If it comes, I'll say the particular test has been passed, otherwise it is failed. That's what we'll be just doing it with respect to your previous technique. So we have seen boundary value analysis with respect to your functional testing. Another one is equivalence class partitioning. The last one was decision table approach. So these three approaches will be coming under the functional testing. Now we are moving ahead. We are moving to the second type of system, the second type of testing, that is nothing but your structural testing. In that structural testing, the first testing technique that we are dealing with is fault-based testing. So in structural testing, the first particular technique that we are dealing with it is fault-based testing. And this will be coming in the third textbook that has been mentioned with respect to your syllabus. So it has been written by Moropez and Michael Young. So you can just check out with respect to the slideshow. So here only at the downstairs, at the particular footer part, it has been mentioned as Moropez and Michael Young. Okay, so this is the textbook that they are referring, or they have given it to refer for fault-based testing. Okay, so what do you mean by fault-based testing? The name itself suggests that fault. Fault means what? Some particular changes or some particular unexpected things, whatever it can perform, I'll just make that particular thing to happen. Based on that, I'll only introduce the fault and just check for that particular thing. If the particular output is what I expected, I know that that is that output, whatever the, okay, a simple example I'll give you. We have taken the example of Facebook login, right? Yes. With respect to that particular Facebook login, I have given some particular email address to take it down as the first particular in the first particular text box, and the second particular text box we have just considered the password to be entered. Okay, email, we all are familiar that you need to have some characters followed by one special character it should be including. So that is by the name called as, or by the special character is nothing but at the rate, followed by one more special character you need to have it, that is called as periodic operator or the dot. So with respect to these two operators, if it is available, then I can say an email address is formed. So with respect to this, I'll just go forward. So if I change at the rate to dollar, then what happens? I know the result. It should not be the same, because email address, whenever you go it should be addressed with respect to the at the rate itself, followed by dot to separate with respect to the several categories that we are having it with respect to our design part. That is, whether we want the communication for the communication purpose, we are using it for within the organization, we are using it for the education purpose, we are using it. That's what dot after that, whatever it comes, it will be there. So before that, after this particular at the rate, before that particular dot, that is the service provider name that we'll be giving it. Gmail is a service provider, mailing service from the Google. That's what they will be saying it. Yahoo, one more particular Yahoo Mail is nothing but one more service providing with respect to your Yahoo. So that's what it will be saying. So with respect to this, we know all these particular all these particular terminologies. If I replace at the rate with dollar, what happens? If I replace at the rate with respect to hash, what happens? So if we go on changing that, then we say that fault is introduced in that. If the resultant is one and the same, that is, it is accepting the values, then there is a problem in your particular system. Are you getting it? So you need to get a different output. That is, whatever it is given with respect to the name. Say, for example, I'll just take a whiteboard. For your better understanding, I'll just take a whiteboard. Just try to draw this. All right. Okay. So email address. That's what we were just discussing with, right? So with respect to your Facebook login, I'm talking about. So with respect to that, first is the email address that you will be just giving it. The email address should contain characters. I can say AAA. It should have @ followed by JJJ dot. This is what we understood. Now, introducing the fault is nothing but I'll give it AAA. So instead of that, @ special character, I'll use it $. Next, the same thing, jjj.com. Similarly, I'll introduce one more fault to this. AAA, instead of $, hash, I'll just give it jjj.com. So now, with respect to these two, this is wrong. You cannot have the email address which where the special characters will be $ or hash or dot or something. Okay, so this one also I'll change it. Instead of dot, just change it to semicolon. This one is colon. So this is not at all called as an. This is not at all taken, or this pattern is not at all called as an email address. So this should be very much. We should know about this particular topic very well, right? So this is nothing but your faults. Now, the question is, if I introduce this particular fault now, so if I introduce this particular fault, so if the resultant value, whatever I'm just getting it, so if it accepts resultant accepts the value, means there is problem in the code. Understanding it? Understanding it? So if it accepts, means there is some problem in our particular code. So it's already, it is just nothing but the pattern, right? So we should not have any $ or semicolon or any other particular characters except two particular special characters, that is @ followed by dot. Understanding it? So you need to have mandatorily these particular two things. If you don't have it, then there will be no meaning that it is an email address. No need to say that it is an email address. So just because of it, you need to be very careful enough. So if this also accepts, that is this particular value I'm talking about, $, has been given, but still it is accepting, means there is some problem. There is some problem in the code that we have. So you need to be very careful enough to write that particular. Then this is nothing but the fault. We are introducing a fault. We are checking for a better cause. If there is some particular difference in it, we'll just say that the code is having some problem. We need to rectify it. If the resultant is one and the same, I'll just cut down that particular thing. Say, suppose I'll introduce the fault one by one. Say, for example, one character only I'll change it. The other character I'll keep it as is. This is one time. So next time what happens is, this one I'll keep it as it is @ and this one I'll change it. So this is how it will be just taken care. Or else I can go with multiple faults also. You can introduce it. Multiple faults in the sense changes, that's it. So you know that that particular thing will never happen, but still we are just going with it. So as we did it with the previous one, this is how. Or else instead of com, it will be something like anything it can. So this is a character. So between your characters, you need to have two special characters as a mandatory. If those two characters are not matching, but still it is accepting, means there is a problem in your code. You need to rewrite, or you need to you need to debug it once again, and you need to just correct this particular errors. Otherwise, you can keep it as it is. So until and unless you won't clear these errors, then you cannot move further. It's in a simple other words, if you want to say it, what is fault means, it is nothing but your exceptions. So you know certain type of exceptions which will be handled during the runtime error. There is no problem with respect to the code, but during the runtime error, it will be giving you some unexpected answers, like divide by zero or array out of the boundary or something else, right? So those things are nothing but your, you can just remember that as a fault-based testing, okay? Uh, we'll just move ahead. So this is a brief introduction about your fault-based testing. So we'll just check out what else we can find it with respect to your fault-based testing. So yeah, what are all the things that it will be having? So that's what the basic idea of the fault-based testing is. As I have told you, I've given a brief introduction about it. So we introduce a particular fault in the particular exact whatever the correct code is that in the coding language we'll introduce it. Depending on that, we'll just check it. So here, whatever I said, whatever the example that I have given you is, the pattern will be changing. That's it. The pattern is what I'm just was uh, explaining you, understanding it, not the value. Pattern. Pattern is at the rate should be there, dot should be there. So that is what the pattern is all about. You can have n number of series of characters. So you know something about the pattern matching, I think so. If you don't know anything about it, it's very simple. How will you recognize a character a, whether it is an uppercase or a lowercase? You have a pattern. There's some that is what I'm just talking about. Whichever the particular thing that you remember in the real world, how can you say that a device is a mobile device or a laptop? You have a particular pattern for that particular mobile device and laptop device. So with respect to that, you'll be distinguishing it. So that is nothing but the pattern. Once again, everything is represented with respect to the pattern. At the rate symbol will say it. It's a pattern. So dollar, it's a pattern. So this is how it will be just changing it. So that pattern, if you just change it, and if you just can judge whether you are getting the same output or not, depending on that, you can just go with it. If the same output is resultant one is the same output after after ensuring that it will be um, you have changed the code also, then there will be a problem with respect to your code that has been generated. How to do that? But that one particular application is there, or one particular technique is there, which is very famous in fault identifying fault-based testing. That is called as mutation testing. Understanding it. So that's what it will be. So they have given you an example. What they have done is they have taken the marble. So similar kind of marbles, they have kept it like blue, black, or brown, or something like that. They have kept it in separate boxes. Now what they are doing is they are mixing up all the things. So black is always invalid. That is what they will be saying. Blue is somehow they will be just forwarding with respect to valid cases. And sorry, black never should happen. Blue, it may happen with the valid cases. The other one is brown, which with respect to that, it need to give some other particular, that is invalid cases of input. If you are invalid cases also, if you are considered elements, you can just go with that. So this is how. So if I just pick black, it is easy for me to say that it is an impossible one. So you cannot have such a type of changes in your particular code. So the resultant will be different, right? Color coding is different. That's what we are just finding out. So in a whole particular mass, which one is correct, which one is wrong, we are just picking it by introducing the fault, by mixing all the things. Then we'll just pick one by one. So if the resultant is different, then we'll say that yes, whatever we have assumed is working fine. If it is same, then there is a problem. If the particular first output for first program and the introduction of your, if I say black marble and the blue marble are one and the same, do you agree? So there is a lot of difference between the color coding, right? So the same thing we are finding it with respect to our fault-based testing. That's what they just wanted to remember or remind us. Okay, so estimating the test suit quality. So if I add 100 new bugs, suppose I have a particular program with particular errors rather than bugs, I'll just say it as errors. So it has been created by the programmer. Okay, programmer has not considered certain particular conditions. Due to that, you may get it. You may get an error. See, one simple example I'll give you. So with respect to the, how many of you are using Windows 10 operating system? They have given an update in March, but that update is not working fine. So it will not run your particular application for a longer time. So it will be interrupted in between, saying that some particular applications has been crashed. It will be asking you to restart your computer once again. So this is because of the fault that they are having it. We can never say that a particular application, whichever the application it may be, it's an error-free one, or it's a bug-free, or there will be no particular errors itself. Everything is working fine. So there will be a fault, or there will be some errors which we need to handle it properly. Not, it may not come today, it may be coming after 5 years, after 1 month, after 2 months, or after 2 weeks, or after 1 week, after a day also you may get it. That's why the maintenance people plays a vital role. Their job is to finding these particular type of errors. They need to ask it to send it to the coder to recorrect it. Understanding it. In the maintenance, one part is nothing but your tester's job. Are you getting it? So that application need to be rigorously tested so that until and unless you get an error. So you may say that you have an iPhone, which is of iOS, which is composed of a separate operating system, which is object based. So based on that, iOS is the operating system they are using it. There's a Mac operating system that is where they have designed this, and everything is working fine. But still, there will be few bugs here and there, which we may not be recognizing it. But the maintenance team will be coming to know about those particular bugs. How they will be coming to know? By rigorously testing that. So you need to give different type of inputs and you need to just check out. So how it will be done? So we will be using it in one particular perspective that may be used in other perspective also. How come you come to know? So you need to explore it. You need to explore it means you need to take the chances. That is what we are doing it with respect to your fault-based testing. So we are introducing some faults. If I do this, what happens? If I go, somebody says that this is the rule that you need to follow. If I break this rule, what happens? Understanding it. So somebody says that don't delete the files that is available in your C drive. If you do it, what happens? Your entire operating system will be crashed. It will be gone. So you need to reinstall it once again, right from the beginning. That's what it happens. If we don't give that particular thing, if we ask you to don't do that, you'll be always getting a particular habit of doing that first, getting that particular thing. So you will be losing certain information. So the same thing happens in the software industry also. So in order to avoid it to the extent, what they will do is they will introduce the fault by themselves. They will test it rigorously. They will be testing. See, that's what they are doing it. So they are making the same particular one particular program into 100 different copies. That is what introduction of adding new bugs. How this is achieved? This is achieved with respect to your mutation testing. If you are coming with respect to the background of biology, with respect to your second PU, if you have taken that as a major subject, at that particular time, you can easily understand what is this mutation is all. Mutation is nothing but just a copy of the original. So we'll be just having it. So n number of the same particular original copy that I'm having it. Here 100 new bugs means 100 new copies of program I'll be having it. So what I'll do is I'll have a test case design. I'll have a test input. So with respect to that particular input, I'll just try to run all the 100 copies of the program. I'll just try to identify whether it will be giving the same output or different output, whatever the output that your original program will be yielding. With respect to each one of it, it's a linear search. Remember, it's a linear way of doing it. Linear way is nothing but one is the original program, two is the mutated program. Mutated means changed. Some operator may be changed, some other particular character may be introduced with respect to the value that you are taking it. They're like that. Some changes, you are just doing it. So that is a mutation that you'll be saying it. So that particular mutation object with respect to the original object, you'll be comparing it. If both results are one and the same, then there is a problem. Understanding it, whether to accept it or delete it. So then we need to check that particular, once again, the mutated value, whatever we have taken that. So you need to take care that you need to have one more particular test on it with the different test cases. So until and unless it gives you the different output, you need to just check out for all the particular possibilities. So in that particular possibility, with respect to your test case design, suppose the test revealed that 20 of the bugs were 20 of the bugs will be taken care. The other 80 program copies do not fail. That means the 80 copies has been passed with respect to it. 20 copies has been giving you different things. Then, so in that particular 20 cases, you can keep those, but remaining 80 cases, you need to again test it. That's what I just wanted to, I was explaining you previously. So if it is one and the same, then there is a problem. Understanding, because after changing, okay, simple example I'll give you. So I'll just give you a simple example which we all are familiar with. So that is your yeah, we'll just take this particular example. Is the screen visible to all of your whiteboard? Whiteboard is visible? Yes. Okay, so what we are taking is for your triangle problem. Triangle problem. So what is the thing that we are saying it? What is the condition that we are checking it over here? If I say A, comma B, comma C are the represent the three sides of a triangle. Yeah. So we have a condition, right? A should be less than B plus C. Next. Okay, I'll just take one. Okay, I'll just take all the particular things. B should be less than C plus A. Similarly, A should be less than B plus, sorry, C should be less than A plus B. This is what it is. Now, our mutation testing, if we introduce, what I'll do is I'll say that B, sorry, A is greater than B plus C. Understanding it? So this is the mutation program that I'm having it. Similarly, I'll just go with saying that one mutation, one change, I'll just keep it. So remaining all will be just taking it as it is. This is what I'm just going to do it with respect to your program. Okay, this is not done with respect to your pen and paper. This will be entirely with respect to your system. With respect to that, any coding language you can use it. In that particular coding language only, we are just talking about it. So we are introducing it. So this, we'll say it as a original. This one is mutated. So this is the mutation that I'm just doing it. So if this results the same, that means if you say this particular thing, then also triangle can be formed. If you have mutated, right? So if this also results in triangle can be formed, then there will be a problem in your code. Understanding it? So if it gives the answer as something different, that means it is the sorry, if it gives the same, then it will be nothing but you have bug in that particular code. Otherwise, whatever the code that you are having it is working fine. That means it should say that triangle cannot be formed with respect to this. That is the case, then you can see it. You can go with it. So for that, you need to handle it properly. Are you getting this point? Is that clear? So this is what your virginal and mutation is all about, how you can mutate it. Yeah, basic assumptions. Uh, that's what we need to just assume it. So if I give a particular changes, if I make it with respect to the code, how it behaves, I need to just check it out. If that particular thing behaves same, then I need to keep it for one more particular observation. Otherwise, I need to if it is different means there is no problem with respect to the code. You can just delete that particular mutated object and you can go for the next particular mutation object comparison. Understanding it? This is what we need to just identify. What we are doing it over here is we are just checking out how better, how good the program behaves in all the different types of input cases that we have assumed. Understand? So that's what it will be saying with respect to your basic assumptions that we are making with respect to your fault-based testing. So one particular type of testing is mutation testing. I have given you a simple example of how to change the operator with respect to that change, how it works. See here. A mutation is nothing but a copy of a program with a mutation. That's it. A mutant is nothing but a copy of a program with a mutation. Mutation is nothing but copies, several copies of the same particular original thing. So mutation is done with respect to syntactic change. Syntactic change is nothing but with respect to the changes that you are making it with respect to your operator, or instead of this particular thing you can change it with respect to your instead of is if you can use it switch, instead of that particular thing some other thing, yes you can go with that. So if that is the case, then how it will be performing. So if both the things perform same, then there is some particular problem in it. So you need to keep this particular program also. You need to keep the changes, whatever you have made it. You need to observe it for different type of inputs. If the resultant is one and the same, there is a problem in it. So we need to change the entire code. Understanding it. So run the test suite on all the mutant programs. A mutant is killed if it fails on at least one test case. That is different. If it gives the different output, then you can kill that. Otherwise, you need to keep that particular mutant for some particular reasons, saying that for this particular input, it may have given the same output, but due to some other particular condition in some other particular input, if you just give it at that particular point of time, it may result in the failure state. We'll take an example in the next class probably, so it will be understood better. Okay, so the next thing is, what do I need to believe? Mutation testing uses seeded faults. That's it. Whatever the faults that I know, whatever the things that I know, I'm just introducing it. I'm just introducing the black marbles. Black marbles is nothing but it is an impossible cases, which we know it. So that's what I'm just giving it. I'm just checking it. Does it make sense? Or what must I assume? That's what the next particular thing, what they are saying. We are very familiar with what output that we wanted. But if I feed this particular thing, if the resultant is one and the same, then there is a problem in it. That's what I just gave you an example with respect to your triangle problem. So if I change that A should be greater than, any side should be greater than the sum of the two sides, then the meaning is different. Although we know that there is a problem in that particular thing, but still if you are getting it the same output, then there is a problem in your particular entire code, what you have designed it. So we need to assume it properly. So we need to change that particular notation properly. So otherwise there will be a what you can say, in either of the case, if your resultant is one and the same, then what you can assume? Somebody says A is less than B plus C, somebody says A is greater than B plus C. Both are resulting one and the same. Why should I bother about it? So why should I take that particular greater than or less than symbol to the extent? What is the meaning of the comparison over there? So it will be gone. Even if you say equal to also, if it is resulting in the same, then there is a different meaning. So I cannot say that I cannot have a particular thing. If I introduce a fault, if I seed a fault in the particular original program, if I copy it as a separate one, then that program should be resulting in a different one. Then only I can kill that particular mutant. Otherwise, there is some problem in the code, which whatever the assumptions that I have made, I need to change those assumptions, reconsider that. Once again, I need to write that. So there is an exception called as there is a hierarchy of the exceptions. In that, the higher or the root of the exceptions is exception class. Under that, you have several types of exceptions. If we don't know the exception, if we don't know the runtime error, what it is coming, we'll always go with the exception class, right? Which is a uh, base class for all the particular subclasses that we have. Whether it's a divide by zero, whether it is some other particular thing, we will be going with that, right? So what is the intention of doing that? We know that there is some particular problem existing. The problem may be while opening a file or opening a connection to the separate particular member or doing some other particular task like division with respect to that, especially we will be facing some particular problem. With respect to your arrays, indexes, if you are facing, if you are dealing with it, at that time there will be problem with that. So we know this. This is the known particular thing. If something else happens also, you need to catch it, means you will go for exceptions. So there also we are feeding the same thing. We are doing the same thing. Try catch block, a simple example that I can give you with respect to this. So I'm trying with respect to different particular things, catch it with respect to different, whatever the things that you are getting it over the exceptions. Same thing I'm doing. By feeding errors or faults, I'll just, faults in the sense, I know that this will be resulting in a different manner. But still, if I want to check it, means if I check it, then I'll be coming to know whether it is resulting in the same different one or not. What I can do is when you are uh, whenever you are free, you change that particular code in the triangle problem. A is less than B plus C is there, right? You introduce a fault over there. Fault is nothing but change of the a mutant. So instead of fault, I'll use this particular thing. You mutate that particular entire code into a separate copy. So do a separate copy of it, keep a separate copy of it. So this may be a triangle.js, means that should be triangle1.js. In the triangle1.js, you just change one particular operator. That is, instead of less than, go with greater than symbol. Just check out what happens. Or if you're going with B plus C greater than A, then do the reverse operation. That is less than that particular. B plus C should be less than A. If it is given, means what happens, you just check. Okay. If the result is one and the same, then there is a problem in your code. If the result is different, then everything is working fine with respect to the original program. Understanding it? So keep that in your head. With this, I'll just take leave for today. So in the tomorrow, there will be a holiday. So I won't be taking class. Uh, Day after tomorrow, if possible, I'll inform you early. So because we need to cover this particular mutation testing, we need to complete this by this week itself. So that's why I'll inform you early. Don't worry. Okay. So if you have any doubt, you can either email me or text me or send an send your questions with respect to your WhatsApp also. I'll reply you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your patience listening. We'll just meet in the next class. Hoping that whatever the things that I have covered today, uh, you have a, you all have understood that. So keeping that, I'll just end this particular meeting. Okay, less than a minute is there, so I cannot ask the feedback from any of one of you. We'll just try to explore it in the next class. Okay, thank you.